Hey, welcome back to Blazing the Jungle. In today's video, we're going to be talking about monthly storage fees, specifically Q4 storage fees and how Amazon's about to eat your lunch. Hey, welcome back. If you're new to this channel, we're talking about selling on Amazon FBA. And you've got questions, you're looking for the way forward, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Find the link below to our Amazon Facebook group called Blazing the Jungle. I'm there to help you guys out if you need it, as so is our community. So I'd love to see you guys there, so check that out. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the content for today's video. We're talking about Amazon monthly storage fees. So in the last video, I talked about mistakes that we made along the way over our last 3 years as Amazon sellers. And the first mistake that I talked about was not paying attention to Q4 storage fees. So I wanted to dig in a little bit more on that conversation. And I want to show you guys my numbers from the past 3 years, starting in 2017. If you're not paying attention to Q4 and you're just loading up the Amazon warehouse with everything you got, and your items are not selling, Amazon's going to destroy you. There's just no question about it. So the rest of this video, we're gonna dive into my computer, look at some of my numbers. I'm going to pull down the monthly storage fee report. I'm going to aggregate a few things so I can show you like a high level what that looks like, and kind of how I analyze my reports and what I try to do about that. And then behind that, we'll go into some of the basic details about what the storage fees are, how they calculate rates, how you calculate the size and the rate for your product. So let's dive into my computer right now and talk about that. All right, to begin with, we're going to go into reports, then down to fulfillment, and then scroll down to the payment section. We're looking for monthly storage fees. So we're going to click that guy. You can choose your month and year, and I typically download as a CSV file. So here I've uploaded it into Google Sheets, and highlighted here are the estimated monthly storage fees for the month of October. So I like to aggregate my data like this. So I run a pivot report. I pivot on product name, and then the monthly storage fees are there in total. So it aggregates all the warehouses into one line by the product name. And then I pull over all of my sales for that month. And then I run a ratio. It's essentially the percentage of storage fees compared to sales. So, and then I sort that by largest to smallest. So I typically like my storage fee ratio to be under 1%. So under 1% means the fees are minimal. My units were selling well. Everything is good there. Once we get above 1% is where I start to question things, especially when we get above 10%. So I have some 12% all the way to 23.5%. So really what that tells me is those units, those products did not sell as I expected, and they hung around in the warehouse. And Amazon let me know about it by charging me a lot of money for the amount of units that I had in that warehouse. So here's a look back over the last 3 years. So we started in June of 2017, so that year is going to be skewed slightly. But you can clearly see Q1 through Q3, all of my ratios are under 1%. The storage fees are not a huge deal. Jumping into Q4, that's when the rate really goes up. My percentage ratio is too high. It's a lot of money. So if you're not paying attention to this, it's going to catch you off guard. You think you have a great Q4, and then the following month, they bill you in November and December and January for Q4, but you have a great month and they hit you with $2,000 as they did for me in 2019. It's just unexpected. So you got to be prepared for this. And the best thing you can do is just make sure your units move. Sell-through is very, very important in the Amazon warehouse. So Amazon's basically going to charge you a monthly storage fee on the space that your products are taking up within their warehouse. They do this by finding the average daily volume. So that starts with the number of units you have in their warehouse on average throughout a month. So if you started with 10, you sell through, you end with 0, they're going to go with 5 units as the average. And then they'll calculate the total cubic feet of those 5 units. January through September, they'll charge you 75 cents per cubic foot. That does not mean 75 cents per unit. In October through December in Q4, it jumps way up to $2.40. So this is where it can get really out of control if you have a lot of units in the warehouse and they're just not selling. So the way they calculate cubic feet of your product is essentially you take your package, not the product itself, but the package that it's going to be sold in. You do length times width times height, and then divide it by 1728. A really good tool is the inventory performance metric. So What this is telling me, these are my numbers here. So my sell-through is really bad right now. So it's really dragging down my score. So I have to identify which items are not selling well in the Amazon warehouse, and I got to get rid of those guys. I have to sell them, run a sale, run more advertising, do what I have to do to get that down so that number comes back up. And as you can see, in May of 2020, I ended up paying $250 in storage fees, which is about 1% of my sales revenue. So I'm really right on target. I would like that to be a little bit lower than that even, but I'm right on target for where my sales versus storage fee ratio is, so I'm good with that. So I hope you guys find this really helpful. Please, if you've got any questions at all about anything that I've covered here, please leave me a comment. If there's anything you'd like me to cover that I've not talked about thus far, where are you stuck? Leave me a comment down below, join us in the Facebook group, and we'll take care of that for you. So